Hello guys, it's Sebastian back with another video for you today. Who's familiar with Bon Parfumeur? Have you tried their fragrances? So I discovered their fragrances probably around 2017 or 2018 here in San Francisco. Over at Bloomingdale's, there was a small kiosk on one of the floors upstairs, and I stumbled onto the brand after I had just heard about them. So the fragrances do seem very accessible, they're easier to wear, and I think they are also a great entry-level niche collection of fragrances. So today I'm doing a video of part one of 3 parts on the entire collection of fragrances from Bon Parfumeur. Find out about their fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. We're talking about Bon Parfumeur. Are you familiar with this house? Do let me know if you have a favorite fragrance from this house. You know, I've actually spoken about one of the fragrances quite a bit on the channel, number 3, which is the first collection I'm going to talk to you about. Number 3 is very fresh and green and also ozonic, but the collection is broken down into 10 collections. I've got the names written down here. So the first collection is 000 colognes. The second collection, 100 or 100 floral fragrances. Third collection is 200 fruity fragrances. Fourth collection, spicy amber, it's 300. Then we have the fifth collection, 400 vanilla and musk fragrances. Then we have the 500 collection, which are gourmands. The 600 collection, which are woody fragrances. The 700 collection, which are aromatic fragrances. 800 collection, which are aquatic fragrances. And then we've got 900, which are considered special. So today I'm going to talk to you about 00, which is the colognes, which are the colognes. Then we've got the floral in the hundreds, the fruity in 200s, the 300, it's spicy amber, and then finally the vanilla and musks with the 400. So the collections are not all equal numbers. Like the vanilla and musk collection has 2 fragrances. The fruity fragrances has 3 fragrances. The colognes and the 00 and the spicy ambers have 4 fragrances each, and then the floral has 5 fragrances. So basically, I'm going to give you quick impressions of the fragrances in each collection, and then tell you which are my favorite fragrances from the collection. So we're starting off with 001 in the 000 collection, which are the colognes. Now, 001 is your straightforward eau de cologne style cologne fragrance, very fresh, invigorating, with bergamot, petitgrain, and orange blossom. Then in 002, we've got neroli, jasmine, and white amber. It's a floral cologne. Basically, it's taken 001, which is the traditional eau de cologne style fragrance, and amping it up with a little bit of an amber touch and adding additional floral notes. In 003, as I was saying, this is the ozonic fragrance. It's basically yuzu, violet leaves, and vetiver. I think it's a great, crisp, juicy experience. Zingy, spicy, wonderful. And then finally, 004. This is it right here. And this one is ice cold with a gin, mandarin, and musk combo of notes. So it's basically like a gin tonic. I feel like this collection is perfect for this time of the year. If you like the idea of these fresh fragrances, the cologne style fragrances are going to be perfect for you. If I had to pick, I would pick number 3 for sure. I would also pick number 1, and then I would also pick number 4, but all 4 of them are great. It depends on your mood. And the cool thing about these fragrances, they're sold here in San Francisco at Ministry of Scent. I have a link. They're also sold on the Bon Parfumeur website. I have a link to them as well. And the price point on these fragrances is not too expensive. So I think they'll make for a great entry-level niche collection of fragrances. If you're just stepping outside of the designer world, this will be a great collection for you to start exploring. And the cool thing about the fragrances, once again, they list the notes, like the dominant notes on the fragrances that you can see right here. So it says fleur d'oranger, petitgrain, and bergamot. So basically orange blossom, bergamot note, and the petitgrain note. So it's basically that your traditional cologne style fragrances. So 100 ml plus 15 ml. So it's a duo. You get a mini bottle with a 100 ml bottle. It's $140. You got 100 ml by itself without that mini bottle. It's $120. And a 30 ml is $60. So it depends on what you want. If you want a large size bottle to, have around and use up a lot, and you want that extra 15 ml to carry around with you, that might be a good value. For $140, it's 115 ml total. And then of course the 100 ml is $120. So I think these fragrances are quite great. If you haven't tried them yet, please do. So on to the floral fragrances. We've got floral collection of fragrances here, and there's 5 total fragrances. And there's 2 that I really, really enjoy in this collection. And I'll tell you all about it. They are the 100 collection of fragrances. So we started out with 000. Now we have 100, so we have 101, 102, 103, and we have a special 104. It's a black bottle. And then we've skipped 105, and we have 106. So I think maybe they'll come out with a 105 later. We shall see. But let's go ahead and start out with the first one. It's 101, which is this. And this is Rose, Sweet Pea, and Cedar. This is quite a zesty, fresh rose. It's got some spicy kick to it. The next one is 102. This one right here. Now this one is tea, cardamom, and mimosa. So this makes for a kind of a powdery effect with the spiciness of the cardamom. Mimosa flower always goes powdery. This one seems a bit close to the skin, but very powdery for sure. The next one goes into a tropical direction. It's 103. It's tiare flower, jasmine, and hibiscus. So if you like the vacation mood, definitely check this one out. It's a solar flower, and you definitely smell like a suntan lotiony beachiness here. Finally, my favorite, 104. This was like, wow, I can't believe how great this is. It's a green orange, hyacinth, and ivy. So it's green. It's a green floral fragrance. It's wonderful. Very, very green hyacinth. It reminds me of spring, but more like a clash of spring and summer, plants and flowers. Hyacinth is a very spring smell, but ivy, to me, I can smell it really strong when it's hot outside in the summer. So that combination, spring smell of the hibiscus, summer smell of the ivy together. This is a fantastic fragrance. Really love it because I love the smell of hyacinth. And then finally, my second favorite in this collection is 106. It's the DAMASCENA Rose, DAVANA, and Vanilla. And it's got a kind of a strange scent memory for me. It reminds me of some kind of a dessert I've had before, a Middle Eastern dessert. And that's what makes it really delicious because, it's a rose, it's a floral note. And then you combine it with like a gourmand note of vanilla, makes for a really, really great wear. And so there's a vanilla fragrance in the collection that we'll get to as well, but I prefer this vanilla over the traditional vanilla. All right, up next to the fruity collection, and there's 3 fragrances in this collection. So these come in these yellow bottles, or actually yellow labeled bottles. It's the 200 series. And the first fragrance is 201, and it's green apple, lily of the valley, and quince. Are you guys familiar with the fruit of quince? I actually grew up with eating quince, although it was more like a jam style rather than eating it raw because it's quite bitter when you eat it raw. It's kind of like a cross between an apple and a pear. But this one in this collection is one of my favorites. It's just a crisp, crunchy, green floral fruitiness that's really refreshing to wear. I think it would make a great summer fragrance in the warmth out there, the humidity. So 201 is definitely a winner from this collection, but 202 is this one right here. This one is watermelon, red currants, and jasmine. This happens to be my second favorite. And this one to me is very candied, gives me light hints of something like Room 1015's Wave Child, because the watermelon, there's a candied watermelon effect here, and also kind of like a tropical fruit drink. It's a fun and playful fragrance. I think these 2 are pretty solid, with 201 being my favorite and 202 being my second favorite. And then we've got 203. It's raspberry, vanilla, and blackberry. Sadly, this one is not as exciting to my nose. It's also a bit subdued, but anybody that's into kind of the freshness and the fruitiness of the raspberry and the blackberry mixed in with some vanillic undertones would probably appreciate 203. So there's only 3 here in this collection, 3 fruity fragrances in the 200 collection. The 300 collection are the spicy amber fragrances. So there's 4 in this collection, and they are with the red label like this. But we do have a black bottle in this collection as well, which happens to be my favorite of the collection once again. So spicy amber fragrances. The first one is amber, cardamom, and Sandalwood at 301. Unfortunately, this one's a bit on the boring side. I feel like they're highlighting the Sandalwood a lot. It doesn't really scream out at me. It doesn't jump out at me. So this one is not one I would gravitate towards instantly, but those of you that like a spicy sandalwood fragrance would definitely appreciate that, because I do smell the sandalwood in there, and the sandalwood seems to be really quite nice. It's kind of like the sandalwood that I found in fragrances like Samsara. But the next one is 302. This one right here. This is amber, iris, and sandalwood. They call this a powdery sandalwood. And again, it is definitely, and once again, the sandalwood is quite similar to the other sandalwood, but this is definitely much more powdery. And this is actually a little more interesting than the first one. But these first two, for me, are not my most favorites, I should be honest about. But 303 is a fantastic fragrance that I've worn quite a bit of. This is pink pepper, and benzoin. Actually, the order is pepper, pink pepper, and benzoin. But on here it says piment, bay rose, and benjoin. Those are in French. And so it's really, really good. For me, when I wear this one, I get the Coca-Cola vibe. Fizziness and sparkling effervescence here. It smells like I'm wearing Coca-Cola. It's really, really great, guys. This one is super, super fantastic. I fell in love with it because it gives me this sparkle and effervescence. Like, just imagine opening that can of Coke or something, and you just put it into your mouth, and then you can feel the sparkle hit your nose. It's amazing. I love that about it. And then finally, the fourth one is 304, this one right here. This is, I believe, one of the latest ones from this house, and I believe this is also created by Anne Flippo. It's cumin, almond blossom, and cedar wood. I don't know if you like the idea of cumin. I absolutely love it. And this is the tolerable amount. It's not overdosed in cumin, but depending on your, sensitivity, you might find the cumin to be too much or, nicely balanced. I like it against the almond blossom. And I feel like I'm seeing blossom notes come up quite frequently lately, because we've been used to all, like orange blossom and things like that. Not much with the almond blossom and cherry blossom. Here we have almond blossom. You get that kind of almondy effect, but you're actually not smelling like full-on almonds here. It's just a floral kind of an almond note. So this one's quite nice, but still my favorite of this collection is 303. Absolutely love wearing that one. And finally, the last collection I'm going to talk to you about today until we do a part 2 and a 3 is the vanilla and musk fragrances collection. And there's only 2 here, and I'll tell you which one's my favorite. So we've got 401 and we have 402. So my favorite happens to be 401 because 401 to me reminds me of the now discontinued, highly sought after Plum Japonais. Are you guys looking for a bottle of Plum Japonais by Tom Ford? This is definitely a great take on it. It's not identical or a dupe or anything, but definitely one that will take its place. So it's cedar, candied plums, and vanilla. And to me, it acts like a cedary take on the Plum Japonais, which is featuring oud. And I believe it also featured fir balsam in there. But yeah, I think this will satisfy those of you that are on the hunt for a bottle of Plum Japonais. That is 401 from Bon Parfumeur. And then 402 is a bit of a letdown for me. And I love vanilla. This is their vanilla fragrance. This one was not really calling to me too much, but this is 402. This is Bon Parfumeur's vanilla with sandalwood and caramel. I wish it was a little more interesting, but to me, it's a simplistic vanilla. So it might find, fans out there. It's also not so sweet. The caramel vanilla combo with the sandalwood adds like a creamy layer to the fragrance. So if you like the idea of a creamy vanilla, you'll be satisfied with it. But for me, I think 401 is definitely a winner. I like that whole reminder of Plum Japonais. So to wrap up, let me tell you my favorite fragrances from all of the collections. So we've got 001 from the 000 collection. This is your traditional eau de cologne style. Really refreshing, very orange blossomy with a bergamot and then also the petitgrain note. Then we've got 003 from that same collection, which was the yuzu, the violet leaves, and also vetiver. You've got some woody backbone there, so it creates for a really nice woody citrus ozonic thing. And then in the floral collection of fragrances, the 100, 104, I've been wearing quite a bit of this one. Really, really love it. It's the green orange, hyacinth, and ivy fragrance. It's green, it's floral, and also citrusy. So it smells fantastic. I love the dry down of that one. It smells amazing on me. Then 106 from the Floral collection as well. And this one is Rose Damascena, Davana, and Vanilla. And again, this one reminded me of a Middle Eastern dessert with a rose twist. I love that about it. In the Fruity collection, I enjoyed 201, this one right here. And this one is Pomme Verte, which is a green apple, lily of the valley, and a quince note. Finally, the candied watermelon thing that kind of reminds me of Wave Child from Room 1015. So it's watermelon, red currant, and jasmine for this one. Both of the fruity fragrances that I'm talking about here really, really stand out. I think they'll make great fragrances to wear in the summertime for sure. Then in the Spicy Amber collection, this 303 is the kind of Coca-Cola fizziness. And it has the pimento pepper, it has the pink pepper, and then also the benzoin note. Really wonderful. I love the whole sparkling effervescence from that fragrance. And then 304, this one right here. And this one was the cumin, almond blossom, and cedar combo. I think it's a great combination and exciting to use the almond blossom as your standout floral note. And then finally, 401 in the Vanilla and Musk collection. 401 was the fragrance that reminded me of Plum Japonais with cedar, the plums, and the vanilla. So these are my favorite fragrances in this collection, or this collection of fragrances. We've got the 000 Cologne, 100 for the floral, 200 for the fruity, 300 for the spicy amber, and the 400 for the vanilla and musk fragrances. But yeah, I think this is a really solid collection of fragrances. They use very famous perfumers to create these fragrances. They're also not uber expensive. And again, entry-level niche collection of fragrances. The other thing is some of the smaller bottles, the 30 mLs, are really great to carry around if you're traveling and things like that. And if you end up buying the 100 ml with the 15 ml, always great to take the 15 ml on a trip with you if you don't want to carry big bottles with you. So do let me know if you're familiar with this house, and let me know if you have any of them. Have you purchased any? Which ones are you wearing? And then after watching this video, which fragrances sounds great to you? And again, if you are hunting down a bottle of Plum Japonais, this 401 I think will satisfy. It's not identical, but totally gives me Plum Japonais vibes. But my two most favorite fragrances are these 303 and 104. They smell super fantastic. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. If you're looking to check out the fragrances, head over to Ministry of Scent. You can smell them in person, or check out the links to the websites for Ministry of Scent and Bon Parfumeur in the info box. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. And don't forget, I'll have a part 2 and part 3 coming down the line here in a couple of weeks to months. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye-bye.